Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Take. I'm your host, Krishna Mano, and in today's episode, we'll be talking to Disney's Teacher of the Year in 2000, author of Move Your Bus, and the founder of the Ron Clark Academy. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Ron Clark. Mr. Clark, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It's an honor to have you on the show.
I was thrilled to be asked. You are one of the smartest humans on earth, and to spend 15 minutes with you would be a joy.
Thank you so much. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do today?
Sure, I'm a school teacher, and I'm actually in my classroom right now. My students just left, but our school's different. We teach with passion, and energy, and creativity, and then educators from all over the world visit us to watch us teach. So this is my room. If you see at the back, there are stadium seats. So today, in fact, we have 1,000 educators in the building. They go through all of our classes, they watch us, they learn from our methods, and they take what we do back out to their schools. We're trying to make a revolution in education. We want education to be exciting and vibrant because we're teaching the TikTok generation, and these kids are used to, you got 1 second to entertain me. So we're trying to show how if you bring education to life, the kids will benefit because of that.
Definitely. And when looking at your background, was there a single experience that got you interested in teaching in the first place? Or was that something that you always knew that you wanted to do?
Never wanted to teach. Never thought I would teach. I wanted to be a vampire. And then I wanted to be an archaeologist, had all these crazy things. And then I was working at a Dunkin' Donut drive-through, and a teacher at a local school passed away. No one in my family had ever been to college on either side. And my mom twisted my arm, and I went into this school because it's a country school, hard to get teachers there. And I told the principal I wasn't really interested, but she showed me the kids, and these kids were going crazy. They're throwing paper. The poor substitute teacher was trying to teach, and her wig was off to one side. And I looked down, and this little kid said, "Is you going to be our new teacher?" And I was like, "Lord have mercy, I guess so." I just felt it in my heart. And that was 33 years ago, and I'm still doing it. I love it. And what made me continue to teach is because I realized as an educator, you have the chance to change the life of a child. You have a chance to open their eyes, to bring learning to life, to give them hope for the future. It is a powerful, beautiful, and wonderful profession. And I knew instantly this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Thank you so much. And in your book, you've written a book called Move the Bus, Move Your Bus. And in this book, throughout it, you apply the lessons that you have learned in the classroom over these past 3 decades to strategies that all businesses and organizations can use with your analogy of a bus. So could you please explain how this analogy works and how it can apply to our daily professional and academic lives?
Sure, sure. So it's a basic concept. It's like you take a picture your organization, whether it's a school or a business, a company, and picture it like it's the bus. Now, all of the employees are on the bus, and they're trying to push the bus as far as it can go. Well, you've got different types of employees. Some are called runners. They've cut a hole in the floor of the bus. They put their feet down, boom, and they're killing it. They move the bus forward. They have positive energy, good ideas. They're not afraid of change, and they don't get into the negative, naggy, talking about everybody. They just want to do a great job. Then you've got some joggers who've cut a hole, and they do okay. And then you've got some walkers. Now, the walkers are kind of dragging the bus. They don't like change. They're negative. They complain. They're difficult to work with. But then the final person on the bus is the rider. They ain't even took the time to cut the hole. They just sat down on the bus, and they're dead weight. So the book and the concept is about how do we push this bus further? How do we get everyone in their different positions to move more, to move faster, to be more successful so that we can, as an organization, be more successful? That's the concept. And the whole thing boils down to one common theme that keeps coming back. When you run an organization, you run it from the top. You highlight the runners. You support the runners. You focus on the runners. A lot of organizations, when they look at the organization, they'll say, oh, this is a weakness here, the riders. Let me work on making these riders better. And if you put all your heart and energy into a rider, they may walk. but they ain't never going to run. And your organization is never going to boom, go where you need it to be. So the concept is how you lead from the top, how you celebrate success, how you validate runners, how you give them freedom, you allow them to be creative, you trust them, and how you run your organization using that principle as a mindset.
Definitely. And what's so cool to see is the way that you've implemented this concept at your own school, at the Ron Clark Academy. And when looking at how your school operates in this current age of technology that we live in, many schools across the nation are trying to figure out how we can keep students away from devices and focused on the classroom. So, how does your team at the Ron Clark Academy keep students engaged throughout the lesson without any distractions, especially coming from technology?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I'm glad to see that all over the nation, they're starting to put restrictions in where they are limiting screen time because it really bothers me. Like I'm teaching a fifth grade class this year. They were COVID kindergartners, so they missed kindergarten. So if you miss kindergarten, you miss a lot. And they don't know how to play well, how to socialize well together. But also these were COVID kids. So COVID kids missed a lot of socialization when they were young. Then when they came back to school, they all wore masks. It was 6 feet social distancing. So these kids, they don't have facial affect. Like when they're listening, they don't nod, they don't smile, they look like this. And it's also because at the age of 2 years old, if you go to a PTA meeting, if you're on a bus, a restaurant, 2 year olds are on the iPad. When you're on an iPad, you don't have to do anything with your face. You look like this. So you're not using your muscles. So then these fifth graders come to my class and they're like this. And no matter what I do, and Krishna, I'm funny. I'll make jokes and they're like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it concerns me that the use of technology is causing people to not be able to communicate and the facial affect is gone. So I am glad that school systems are saying we're going to limit screen time. So here at RCA, I use technology at times. At times I make ed puzzle videos for the kids, and at times I have things on quizzes. 95% of what I do is pen and paper, because science shows if you take that pencil and if you commit it to paper, you're going to remember it longer. It's going to make an imprint on your brain. Anything you do in technology, it's not going to go as deep. And so I have been doing that all along. And so I'm glad to see that others are starting to follow suit and do that as well. But your question was,
How exactly your team at RCA is, keeping students engaged throughout the lesson, even if distractions might arise.
yeah, that's a different thing. So how do we keep these TikTok kids focused? It starts with some very simple things. When kids come in our classrooms, we have music going. Because we found if you play music when kids walk in, they walk in faster, they don't drag their feet, they don't talk, no discipline problems to get their homework out quicker. So once you're in the classroom, it's eye contact. We are looking every kid in the eyes. We don't sit behind desks. We are at the front of the room. So we make eye contact. There is movement. When you have two negatives, you will get a bigger negative. So we're using hand signals to help them learn content. And then we're cheering for each other. If someone gets it right, oh, he got it right. Is Krishna on? And everyone goes, wipe him down. There's movement, there's energy. Kids get up to go to the front of the board, they come down, it's hands on. So we've really tried to make our classes here alive and vibrant, because kids these days, they're used to this. So you have to bring it to life. And those are some examples of some of the things that we do.
Definitely, thank you. And when looking into the future with this technology, how do you see more modern technology like artificial intelligence impacting K-12 education? And what can educators who might be teaching outside of the RCA do to be more proactive about some of the disadvantages that this technology may have?
Some of it freaks me out. Like some of the stuff that, like ChatGPT, the things it can do now, it is mind blowing what it can do. So 2 years ago, when the AI all started to come about, I said to my staff, we have two choices. We can fight this or we can ride this wave. And so we decided to ride the wave. So we actually showed our kids how to write your papers using ChatGPT, how to edit, how to use Sora, we showed how to use Notebook LM. We taught our students how to use the tools, and we encouraged them to use it because you can't stop it. They're going to use the tools. They're going to use it to write their paper. So we showed them how you can use it to still write an authentic paper that is you and your voice, but how you use ChatGPT to amplify that. So then also we had to change some things about our school. We had to have dedicated periods where with no computer, now it's writing time. And you're having to write with no assistance from ChatGPT. So we had to make sure that they were getting that as well because you'll start to rely too much on the AI. But we've really leaned into it at RCA. We use it a lot. The kids use it a lot because you can't fight what's coming.
Definitely, that's good to hear. And from what you've seen, are the students largely receptive about it, about using it for, more of the positive benefits that it can bring rather than looking at the negatives?
Yeah, I think it really helped that we also made a code, an honor code that goes along with it, and we were very specific. We explained to them what is cheating, what's not cheating, what is using AI to our benefit, and then what is using it that's a detriment because it's not really your own work. I think that helped a lot. That we gave a lot of examples to kind of walk them through it. I think that was helpful.
Absolutely. I think that's really important. And when looking at teaching as a profession, as a career, unfortunately, there are fewer and fewer young people like me who are seeking to become teachers, often because of the minimal wages and benefits that it offers, as well as this low job stability with AI on the rise. So, what advice do you have for those students to continue considering teaching as a profession in their future?
Yeah, the pendulum always swings. And so right now it feels like, oh, we're going in a direction where in 5 years, every kid's going to be learning through AI and through computers. But if you've noticed, like I mentioned earlier, school districts are limiting screen time. They're realizing it's not good for kids. Science shows that kids learn better from a real human, from that emotional connection, the human component that AI can't give. So I'm not concerned at all. I'm not concerned. If you want to have a career for the next 30 years as a teacher, you will be able to have a career as a teacher because I don't think humanity will allow, I don't think parents will allow their kids to go to a school and sit and stare at a screen all day. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's not healthy for them. It's not good. Um, so I wouldn't be concerned. Now,
Okay.
there will be a lot more use of AI in schools, and but not to the extent where you couldn't have a job as a teacher.
Thank you so much. And finally, on a lighter note, there is a movie that has been made about you called the Ron Clark story starring the Matthew Perry. And given that that is such a cool experience and something awesome to boast about, what does it feel like to have a movie made about yourself?
I don't know. It was nice. I didn't think too much of it. So when they contacted me and Disney said, we want to make this movie, I was like, sure, sure. And so it's like, I didn't think it would ever happen. Then they're like, oh, Matthew Perry's going to play you. I'm like, okay. You're like, it's never going to happen. It's not real life. And then it actually happened. And so I was grateful for them making the movie. But I'm still teaching to this day. I'm still in the classroom. So it didn't change anything about my life. It was just nice they were willing to make the story to share the connection that you can have with kids and the impact that you can make.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mr. Clark, for joining us on the show today and for being such an inspiration for students across our nation.
You're an inspiration. I cannot wait to watch your journey to see all that you're going to do. You are an incredible young man.
Thank you so much.